Welcome to Making It, a podcast where dreamers are catching their dreams. This is your host, James Demarco. Sit back and get inspired to make it happen. I'm your host, James Demarco. I am here with Ben Arsenal, who is a music producer and DJ, and the guy behind my opening and closing sequence of music and audio. And I wanted to bring Ben on here because he's had an amazing journey and really embodies making it and making your dreams come true, especially right here in his studio in Philadelphia. So welcome, Ben.
Thank you so much.
It's great to have you and great to know you. And thanks for having me here in the studio.
Anytime.
Great. So tell me a little bit about your journey, because you've been doing this for 15 years, and I feel like your career is at its climax now. You're not just a DJ, you are also a music producer, create your own music. You have your studio here. You mix music, you create music for other people. You host amazing events called Departed, and you travel the world with your music. So you're not just a basement DJ out of the garage who is playing weddings. You are the legit guy, so to say.
Yeah, it's been a trip for sure. I started, I was super young. I started on drums and then started recording the drums and was recording bands, and then got exposed to club culture when I was 16 and I went to study abroad and live with some extended family in France. So I kind of started sneaking in the clubs then and saw the impact of DJs and electronic music. And then I got exposed to Afro-Brazilian music and then West African music. And so it all kind of came full circle, as a producer, as a DJ, with all the interests of global culture meeting electronic, the love language of the international scene, which is house music, and kind of tying it all together. So it's...
So you developed this passion then at a young age. It just didn't happen later on.
For sure.
And the club scene really fostered that as well.
For sure. Yeah, I've been obsessed with music since I was 11, 12 years old, for sure.
And most people that I interview who are living their passions usually have had that since they were a kid, that kind of fire inside.
Right.
And then as far as going to Europe, I can't imagine how that impacted the creativity process for you.
Yeah, it was as much as anything else, it was just exposure to what, how impactful a good DJ can be. Mm-hmm. So I went to this one club, and it was the first time I'd really gone out to a nightclub, like a disco, and had an incredible time. And so the next night I was like, I want to do that again. I was like, let me go back there. So I got, went out with some more people and went back, and it wasn't the same, because I think it was a different DJ. And I remember wow, the music and the flow of the music has such power over the feeling of the night. So that was...
Wow.
That was a aha moment for 16-year-old me.
That's amazing. So the power of the music has an influence over the night. That's a great.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
Amazing. I never looked at, I guess that's music does, we'll say, make the people come together, because it really is, can make you happy, can make you sad, can make you reflective.
Right.
So do you incorporate those qualities in your music? Do you say, when you're creating your own music or mixing, I want this beat to elicit this feeling, or is it more of your gut instinct when you're making music?
It's choosing the direction, and then there's always a key element to the composition, whether it's a vocal or a specific instrument, or a type of drum or a specific pattern. It kind of dictates the direction. And lately I've been pretty dialed with this is the time that I envision this song being played. This is okay. Is it hitting hard enough? Or does the build have enough tension? Does the vocal captivate and have the feeling? Because at the end of the day, if there's the undeniable feeling behind the music, then that's what really we all actually feel. It's not just a lyric,
an
equation,
Yeah.
Yeah, lyric Actually, our friend Zeke, he said something, that stuck with me years ago. He said, "It doesn't matter what you say; it's how you say it."
Okay.
So that was
Yeah, yeah.
that was so cool.
It doesn't matter what you say; it's how you say it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you try to convey that through the music, basically.
Absolutely.
And then from that point on, did you listen to the radio when you were a kid too? Like, did you like
Yeah.
music on the radio?
Yeah, it was.
Did that influence you?
A bit. I mean, it was. I grew up in Vermont, so it was pretty limited. It was rock and
Okay.
like pretty basic. I
Okay.
guess when I really started getting into music, it was in the '90s. So it was.
That's a great time for music.
Oh, absolutely! Like Nirvana. And,
Yeah.
Green Day.
Those days are gone.
Those days are gone. Yeah, it's definitely different now. But we're living in a great musical era now as well. So.
Well, I like to think that you're contributing some way to it. So your music is also available on Spotify and anywhere else?
Yeah, anywhere. All the major platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer,
Okay.
Beatport for the DJs.
Okay. So tell me though about, like, you had this passion. It's been a 15-year journey, and you went into the club scene, snuck in, went to Europe, into some clubs, experienced that. Was there education involved as well? Because I know you went to Temple, so did you learn music there as well?
Yeah, I did the minor program in audio engineering.
Okay.
So I learned a bit about mixing, recording, which was great, and that's what kind of pushed me to actually open this studio. Opened it the year after graduating.
Okay.
And with a partner who I met in the program there.
Okay.
And we've been, great friends ever since. So.
Amazing.
Yep.
So your passion really has stuck with you, and you kind of, I guess you had different highs and lows, because right now, I guess I've known you 2 years, and you host Departed, which, how would you describe Departed? It's almost like a music party.
Yeah, absolutely. Departed's, we call it an immersive house music experience. So it's, the idea is to stimulate the senses visually, sonically, and through community as well. So it really brings out, the joy and the happiness of like authentic, authentic childhood experience, where it makes you kind of like escape the daily grind. Everybody's dealing with different things on the regular, so it's a good place to
let loose, escape.
Let loose. We really push the consent policy and the safe space. Expression of self.
Sure.
Respect of others. So we get a really cool, diverse crowd. A lot of people from all corners of Philadelphia and New York. Now that we're in New York as well, so.
And it's like a theatrical show, because you have a whole staging, you have dancers, you have costumes,
right?
You have digital video screens and branding. It's really like you said, it's an immersive experience, and I encourage anybody out there in the Philly or New York area to check it out. Because it will change you. And then you have vendors there who are interacting with everybody there. You have pool table, you have a hydration station, and all different vendors, from cartoon artists to jewelry.
Right. Yeah, we want to make it, like a multi-dimensional experience. So it's a lot of visual art, and the vendors are great because then you can kind of step out of the party and take a lap around the vendor area. Sure. There's a lot of really awesome local artists that are doing live painting and some wellness. Shout out to Ariel,
yes.
The massage station. But yeah, we really try to make it like a mini festival.
Yeah, it's a mini festival inside. It's like a mini Burning Man.
right.
Like a mini, but it is a great experience, and you can feel that sense of community.
Yeah.
And that you love the music, and now you've opened it up, and you bring in other artists as well that you share the booth with, pre or post when you're playing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a blast.
So what is your what would you say your goals moving forward are with music?
With music is just, I think my goals overall are just like, improving quality and like intention and thoughtfulness of every element of what I do, whether it's, producing, composing, arranging, to the way that we produce the events, with the experiential side, with the art, with the branding, with everything. I really want to like take it to the next level, and I see this project being a way to represent Philly like to an international audience. We've been recording the sets, and so we have these amazing full set recordings of all the DJs from most of the events. So that's like 3 seasons. So
you do. You got drones flying around.
We got drones. It's crazy. Yeah. It's so it's we're definitely early in 25. I'll be working with some media teams to get that out to the world and really try to get the gears rolling to make this like an international brand.
I think you're on your way. I
appreciate
So
it.
how do you, for listeners out there who have a dream, whether it's a small dream, a large dream, if they're just starting out, if they're in high school or college, or they're full grown, what kind of advice do you have to keep going with that dream if you have obstacles or things get in the way, whatever it could be?
I think a really important vision and process to have is to think about like the best case scenario where you see the path leading 5 or 10 years down the line, and what is the like ultimate goal, what's like the peak moment of, like, maybe not of your entire life or career, but for the foreseeable future, what does that moment look like, and defining that and describing it and working backwards from there.
Okay.
So it's like, is it to play X venue or X festival or write X song? What would the, like, almost a press release sound like, from that review, like if that was being reported on, what would the best case scenario outcome be, and what would the recap from that sound like, and how do you work backwards?
That's great advice.
And keeping that vision alive, because it's, there's not always the gratification, but it's like having that patience and like the dedication to like constantly work on it, whether it's, for music producers, whether it's just like learning specific mixing skills or arrangements or studying this or that, to actual like composing or, specific techniques, and just like constantly evolving. It's like that 1% every day kind of thing, where it's not about, making massive leaps within
a short period
of time, but it's the consistent efforts that like add up. And so, having that in mind, where you're not going to see the results tomorrow, but benchmark where you're at today, and then look back in 3 months when you've worked on it every single day from that point, or a year later, or
and reevaluate.
Exactly.
If you're making it to that peak that you would like.
For sure.
And I think you made it to the peak for now.
I'm at a good place,
You're at a good place.
Yeah,
there's always room to grow.
We're just getting started, so it's good.
I'm going to leave it at that. Ben Arsenal is just getting started, but he's already international, already making sound waves that have an influence, because music is influential and can really change the course of people's life and give inspiration. And I think that's so important, because I know that's your passion and that's what you do, and you just voice that. So anybody out there who's trying to make their dreams come true, what Ben said, to stay the course and do it in increments, and it's not always going to be gratifying, but you'll get there. I think that is great advice.
Thank you so much.
So thanks for joining me, Ben.
My pleasure.
Thanks for joining me on this episode of Making It. I'm your host, James Demarco. Keep dreaming, and I'll see you next time.